Naha! Thinking of running a classic high fantasy style game but wanting a land thick with years and years of lore plugged into it? Say no more. Dragonlance, and here's why. Dragonlance is a setting created by Laura and Tracy Hickman and then heavily influenced by the writings of Margaret Weiss. Starting out as a setting in 1982 for Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, it now spans over 200 novels, so you won't be hurting for ideas. The world in Dragonlance is called Krynn. Inhabited by many races, it has 5 continents, but most of the goings-on happens on the continent of Ansalon. Margaret Weiss describes Dragonlance as a story of love and friendship on the backdrop of war. There are many gods to the world of Krynn, but 2 of them are actually great dragons as well. The dragon queen Takhisis takes the form of a great worm with red, blue, black, white, and green heads. Sounding familiar? Yes. Just like Tiamat. Her opposite comes in the form of Paladin, or Paladine, one of the 2. An enormous platinum-scaled dragon. Yep, think Bahamut, who tends to roam the material plane as a bumbling old wizard called Fizban. The very same. Have you already played in Dragonlance as a setting, or are you planning to? Let us know in the comments. But we cannot talk about Dragonlance without talking about the Cataclysm. The Cataclysm was a destructive wave of disaster sent by the gods to punish the king priest of Istar for his overbearing ambition to achieve godhood. The gods sent warnings in the lead up to the Cataclysm and even a chance for redemption, but none of these were heeded. The destruction that befell Krynn not only shaped the world going forward, but also destroyed entire countries, changed the calendar around the entire event, and caused the people to turn their backs on the gods. Ah yes, the people of Krynn. Krynn is home to many of the usual suspects, humans, elves, dwarves, and gnomes, but there's also a couple of unique creatures to Krynn that are definitely worth mentioning. The Kender are one of the most common races in the Dragonlance setting. Basically 3 to 4 foot tall elven-looking creatures who have an inclination for curiosity and wanderlust. Kender also have a very unique view on ownership. Taking and innocently stealing from everyone they come into contact with. If confronted, they often use the philosophy of, lucky I found it, or someone else may have taken it. You're welcome. Sidebar! If you choose to play or have a Kender player in your party, make sure to set the boundaries in your session 0. Playing a true Kender can lead to a lot of stealing from other players and creating adversarial situations which can lead to a lot of out-of-game issues. Make sure everyone is on the same page by setting expectations well. And now for Draconians. Draconians are dragon-like humanoids, not unlike Dragonborn with wings. These creatures were not born but rather created by Takhisis to fill the ranks of her dragon armies. They were created by using a dark ritual to corrupt a metallic dragon egg, spawning dozens of Draconians from a single egg. Are you finding value in this video? If so, please consider booping that like button and lancing subscribe, as it really helps us out. Thank you. There are 2 different types of magic in Dragonlance, arcane and divine. Divine magic is granted by the power of deities, which are then channeled by clerics. Arcane magic is given by the 3 moon deities of magic. The 3 moons of Krynn represent the 3 gods of magic. The white moon Solanari represents the good god of magic. Lunatari is the red moon of neutral magic, and the black moon Nuatari representing the god of evil magic. There are many factions and organizations, too many to mention in a 5-minute guide. But the Knights of Solamnia are one of the most unique to the overall feel of Dragonlance. The Knights are dedicated to the service of the gods of good and divided into 3 orders: the Knights of the Crown, the Knights of the Sword, and the Knights of the Rose. Knights of the Crown embody the virtues of loyalty and obedience. Knights of the Sword lend themselves to seeking out evil where it lives and destroying it. And Knights of the Rose concern themselves with world affairs and diplomacy. But wait! What about the actual Dragonlance? What is it? I hear you, I hear you. To put it into a quick summary, the Dragonlance or Spear of Paladin is a magical weapon forged from dragon metal. Only able to be forged by precious few people, and far less common now than in the past, it can only be used if the wielder completely believes in its powers or it risks shattering. Used to defeat the draconian armies of Takhisis, this magically imbued lance has an even bigger impact when used on a dragon, as they had been in multiple wars. So you got the basics for Dragonlance? Well, have you thought about this setting over here?